just feel like we should be doing something so serious when that music plays. Like
well, you can't see me today, but I'm doing my dance. I'm doing my dance.
At like a news desk or something, you know.
I like that music. It's so much better than the YouTube Premiere music.
Oh, I never
song.
listened to
I
that.
hate that song.
I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever noticed.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible. Yeah. Terrible. One of these days I'll record it for you and I'll send it to you. It'll keep you up at night.
Okay. I'm like, my body can't decide what's going on. It's like it's 104 degrees outside. It's probably 69 degrees in my house.
Yay!
I know, it's nuts. I am not ready. Not ready at all for this.
No, me neither. Nope. It's 74 degrees outside right now.
I wish.
The sun is beaming in my room here. And it's a little warm, but it'll cool off. It's still
cool.
Minnesota, you know. But it'll be 90 by the end of the week.
Minnesota,
I have no air conditioning.
You know. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. You betcha.
You betcha. Oh, so we have a very like newsy
update
show
today.
This week. Yeah. Okay. So first of
all,
we
need a soundboard. We need update music.
I know. Update. I don't know. Yeah. That's what I feel like the intro music is. It's very like
Kermit the Frog update music.
Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. So it's Monday. It is Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everybody who served. Thank you for your service. For those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, we thank you and we send our love and thoughts to your families and we thank them for their sacrifice. Unofficial start to the summer, I guess, is what it seems to be. I don't know. It's definitely, we're under a heat advisory for the next 4 or 5 days here, which is just like ridiculous to me. But anyway.
Crazy.
So that's kind of crazed. But let's get on with the news, shall we? So the first thing I want to say is thank you to everybody who has followed us and has helped us and
thank you so much.
Cheered us on. We have reached affiliate status. Woo! Yay! So you should be seeing.
Milestone.
Yes, it is. I'm very excited. So if you're looking at our channel, you should be seeing a place where you can subscribe to the channel to get so you can purchase a subscription to us if you enjoy our content and like what we do here. We would love to have you as a subscriber. So hit that subscribe button and join. There are some cute little emotes and emojis and stuff now that should be showing up if you are a member of this channel. So you'll see those. You can gift subs, you can do all the cool. There should be there should be emotes in here now. Let me look. I see. Yes, okay. We will now be able to earn channel points. I have no idea what we're going to redeem them for yet. We'll figure it out. I don't know what exciting stuff we can do. Yeah, I don't know what exciting fun stuff we can do. Like, I don't know, make Dave dance on the screen or something. I have no idea. See Gladys. I have no idea. We'll figure something out.
Gladys was going to charge us, though.
I know.
Take all our points.
I know. What that also means is if you are not subscribed to us and you come to look at our content, you will see an ad before the content starts. Because now we'll have ads. Hey, Bubba, what's up?
Hey, Bubba.
What's shaking, bacon? I haven't seen you in a long time. It's been a minute. I hope you're well. Happy kind of Memorial Day, sort of happy. And happy 3-day weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you'll see ads in the beginning if you are not subscribed to us. So in order to get rid of those ads and those mid-roll ads and all that stuff, you should subscribe to the channel if you like our content. More content is coming, which I'll talk about in a minute. So that's cool. You'll also be able to throw us bits. Now, what if you're not a Twitch person and you don't know what bits are like tipping. It's like you're making it rain. You're throwing little dollar bills at us. So if we're saying something like, you find really funny, or if Angie makes another friggin' joke about like, swallow it again, and you think that's funny, you throw some bits at that. It'll be, you can do that. So there's that. So that's all. Those are the bits of fun. We make a few bucks from that. So, we appreciate anybody who does join our channel, who does throw bits as we love it. We appreciate it more than you know. Every bit of it goes back into the channel. We'll bring you more content. So aside from our 2 nights a week that we do our regular show, we are I promise we're doing game nights. I just got to go buy the package for You Don't Know Jack, and we will do trivia. We are going to do trivia. We will do it. It'll be funny. Apparently, it's like one of the most popular things on Twitch, so I'm really excited about that.
Fun. Looking forward to that.
Starting tomorrow, I think we're going to try to make it an every Tuesday night thing. But I have to see, because guess what, guys? I got a job. Yay! I'm so excited. So I got a new job. I'm going to be a medical records supervisor, which is exciting. I'm very excited. And I start on the 14th. So I don't know. We'll have to change the time that this schedule. Hey, Coffin Queen. Wow, see, she just stream elements. Coffin Queen, just thank you for the bits, baby. See, that's what happens. You throw the bits in that. You get your name up there. We thank you. We got all excited. Our first bits, yay! So I got a job, which means that we're probably gonna have to change the schedule a little bit, depending if I have to see how fast I can get home from work now. So sorry, but we'll still do Mondays and Wednesdays. We might have to push it back a little bit to an hour. So Angie's gonna kill me for that, but I'm sorry. That's just what has to happen. But if you really enjoyed Dr. War Maiden, aka Colleen, on the show,
I did
last week, which I did. I love Colleen. Colleen is my other half of my brain. For many years, those of us who know Bubba, who's in the chat, will definitely attest to this. My husband, who's moderating the chat, will definitely attest to this, that back in the days of Friend Feed and other social media that's now dead, Colleen and I used to do a lot of we used to have a lot of fun with our little social media streams and our little threads and stuff like that. And if you were around for Friend Feed, you remember Sci-Fi Saturday Night Movies. And we used to do all sorts of we used to do our running commentary of that, which was fun. We did all sorts of fun stuff. And we were always like, we need a show. We totally need a show. Blah, blah, blah. So, well, now that we have a chance to do it, it's pretty easy. We're going to have on Tuesday nights. It's going to be called Stop, Wait, What? That's the name of the show. Stop, Wait, What? And it is going to be Mary and Colleen, or Colleen and Mary, react to random crap on the internet. So we'll find some random videos. Yeah, it's going to be blind reacts. We're not going to watch them. I think I've watched 10 seconds of the first 3 things we're going to react to, just to make sure that these are quality crap we're going to be reacting to. Quality trash, quality insanity. And yes, they are. It's going to be great. So we will be doing that on Tuesdays now. And Angie, I'm sure you will be making an appearance whenever you feel like you come on. You always have an open door invitation to show up, because it's always fun. But yes, so that's going to be a new show that's going to be on this channel. It's going to be us reacting to weird stuff on the internet, because we think we're funny. So
that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters, and you guys now have to suffer with that, but that's okay. So that's that. So let me see, affiliates, Colleen, Mary. What else do we have to say? I got a job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I think that's. Oh no, we're gonna talk. We have an update. We have an update, a content update of our favorite YouTuber that we love to give updates about and give support, B. Caruso. So why don't you give that?
Did you watch the video yet?
I did watch the video. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it yet. So give me, you were immediately, you texted me this morning and you were all excited. So go ahead and give the update, and I will tell you how I feel. I agree with you, but I will give my opinion after you.
I just was saying to you that when she was talking about the therapy portion of the video, because she just, her video was just like an update, a life update. She sat in her car, she did a little car chat, fed the pup a pup cup and that kind of thing. She was just her usual chipper Beatrice self. but she talked a little bit about, just where she was at with her 67-day try your best challenge. And she was just talking about, how her therapy's going, and she feels confusion and frustration, and some of the things that she said just really hit home for me, like how she used to not feel shame surrounding some of her food choices, and now that she started therapy she does. And oh man, that just like that just really, oh, just so much of the things she said just had me really nodding my head and just really feeling validated, feeling seen, and just like it really, um I just really just identified with where she was at and how she was feeling. And it just was interesting to me to hear unsolicited somebody else just say exactly how she was feeling. Like, and I think we all agree, like when people say, oh, you're not alone, you're not alone, it's just sometimes it just really helps to hear somebody say the exact same thing you're feeling, and they don't know you exist, they don't know you're struggling with the same thing. It just really hit home for me because I'm right there with her.
Right.
I'm gaining
Yeah.
weight, and my therapist is helping me make these decisions. And I want to lose weight, and it's not because I hate myself, it's because I love myself. Like, yeah, I can love myself and still want to lose weight, and I can fully love myself and be uncomfortable and not. I literally had this conversation with my therapist last week about loving myself but not liking the way I look, and
Right.
how she feels like, thank you again, Coffin Queen, but like
Another
how she feels like
160.
it's
Yes,
a
yes, yes.
conditional. And I don't think that it's necessarily always conditional. Like,
No.
I wouldn't be in a relationship with somebody and maybe they gained 100 pounds, and I'd say I love you, but I don't like the way you look. Of course, I wouldn't be in a relationship with somebody else and say that. But why do we decide to make changes personally? It's because
Right.
something about us is no longer satisfactory or acceptable. And
Right.
it's okay to want to make change, whether it's physical or personal, physical or inside of ourselves, change our habits, change whoever. So
Yeah.
we're right in the same place. It's like, get out of my head, B. Get out of my head. You don't even
Well,
know me, you freak.
that's what I
Stop
said to
talking to
you.
me.
That's what I said to you. I said, if you're feeling like, if you feel that you and her are in the same place, then I am very happy for her, because I know that that means she's getting really good help. Because I think
Yeah.
that you are
Or at
doing
least that
fantastically.
she's really working on herself. She's
Yeah,
really
and I
working on
mean,
herself.
it's gonna hurt and it's gonna be rough before it gets
Mm-hmm.
better, right? I mean, that's the thing, and I think that's what she was trying to, trying to sit with, is that she's so uncertain since she started therapy about everything. Like, she thought,
Mm-hmm.
she went in thinking one thing, and now everything's being questioned, or like she's double thinking everything, underestimating or overthinking or whatever it is. And I think that's normal. I think that it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like everything the therapist is asking her or saying to her is stuff to make her think these things and to think differently than she's been. Um, and I don't think when the therapist says, you should love yourself unconditionally, I don't think that's a statement of like, who cares if you're fat? I think it's a statement of, it's like, even, you don't want to be fat, and that's okay. You can still love
Mm-hmm.
yourself for that. You are going to fuck up while you're on this journey of trying not, to be in a place where you're comfortable with your own body, and that's okay. And you should love
Mm-hmm.
yourself for that. So I think, it's those things. So I think
Right.
she's in that beginning period of it. And I think that as she goes on and continues with her therapy, it will become easier, but then things are going to be hard too. I mean, these are not
Right.
fun things to talk about.
Right.
And, it's work. That's the whole point, right? It's
Yep.
work.
Yep.
And
you gotta make a mess to clean up a mess, and right
yeah.
now we're a mess.
Yes. So I'm very happy for her.
Yes, I am too.
She seems, even though she's playing up like she's not in a good, like she's all crazy and frazzled and whatnot, which is, I think 90% of her personality is that way, to tell you the truth, which is fine. I love it. It's great. I think she seems like she's in a good place and working towards getting to an even better place. So I was happy to see the update. Thank you for reminding me this morning. And just another shout out to her, B. Caruso. We got your back. We are watching, and we are rooting for you. So there's that update, that like monthly B. Caruso. It's B Watch, everybody. It's B Watch.
Yep, the B Watch.
So let me
you're doing great.
Let me ask you something, all right? Let's talk for a moment.
Am I gonna get fired?
I don't know. No, you're not gonna get fired. No, I don't do that. If I was gonna fire you, I'd tell you we're gonna talk about it and you're gonna get fired. But you'd probably
I didn't even get a performance improvement plan.
I'm saying you'd have an performance improvement program, and you'd have at least 7 letters of warning before that. So I think you'll be okay. All right, so guys, let's find out. So let's talk for a minute, shall we? So, are you somebody that wants love in return in your relationship? So the desire for emotional reciprocation frustrates you until you've either started a committed relationship or confronted a rejection. So it's a noticeable urge with some people. They want their objects or loss to fall in love with them more than anything else. Do you want people to fall in love with you more than anything else? Do you daydream about somebody 24/7 in this form of intrusive, involuntary, and persistent thoughts about the individual? You can't stop thinking about them, even if you want to. Or, every activity, event, word, or gesture that you say or don't say, indirectly or directly, relates back to that person. Dwelling on thoughts of an individual. Constantly reading into somebody else's behavior. They waved at me. They batted their eyes while they looked at me. They looked nervous today. So obsessive behavioral reading. I'm not judging you.
Just kidding.
I was going to say behavioral reading of somebody. Looking for meaning and everything. You think that a person is a hero no matter what they do. In your eyes, they're just a hero. It doesn't matter. All the bad aspects of that person are invisible to you. All you see is the wonderful. That's, they're completely your one and only. And do you experience brutal mood swings based on somebody else's emotions? So if somebody else is upset, are you upset? Or if they're happy, you're ecstatic for them. You don't believe in rejection at all. You fear it. In fact, it's like pathologically a fear for you. You play mind games when when you're trying to communicate. You're analyzing. You're always wondering. You're trying to be intriguing to somebody. You're never direct in what you're saying to them at all. You're not bothered about anything by the person. Nothing. The only thing that bothers you about them could be them and their indifference or action to you. But as far as anything else goes, serial murderer, no problem. I can handle that.
I can fix it.
Fix it. You're not in it for just sex. Okay. You feel anxious constantly around the person, and this is beyond like the little butterflies we have when we're in our presence of our crushes. You're depressed when the person's not around, but to like the nth level. And you think that you can't live without somebody. So guys, if you feel any of these feelings, I think you better do some self-reflection here, because chances are you might be a limerent. You might be suffering from limerence, which is today's L is for limerence, which is a scary concept when we think about it. So Um, you spread limerence is ridiculous. It's I want to find a good. It's a psychological condition of uncontrollable obsession and fantasization about a romantic relationship. So it's basically like the stuff that stalking is made from. that's how I put it. The majority of people in the world are not aware of the concept of limerence. This is mainly because it's often confused with either love or infatuation, when in fact all three have distinct characteristics characteristics for identification. So limerence is a cognitive and emotional state of mind where the sufferer is obsessed with another person. It's mostly accompanied by emotional dependence, intrusive thoughts, and a strong desire for emotional reciprocation. The person who suffers from limerence is called a limerent, and the person who is desired is called a limerent object, or LO. Jesus Christ. It's fairly new. This was from probably a decade ago, because there's not a lot of this was coming out about a decade ago. So it's called fairly new concepts, and it's used in psychological studies about romantic relationship. And it's a limerent person has the love addiction with an acute longing for reciprocation from the object of affection. So this was coined in 1979 by Dr. Dorothy Tenoy. Mm-hmm. She put in a book called Love and Limerence, The Experience of Being in Love. She conducted research in the mid-1960s on 500 people about the topic of love. She described limerence as an involuntary, potentially inspiring state of adoration and attachment to a limerent object person, involving intrusive and obsessive thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, from euphoria to despair, contingent on perceived emotional reciprocation. It's backed by the attachment theory and represents the scientific nature of obsessive love. The sexual attraction is an essential component of limerence. The limerent is a potential sex partner. And it says here that it suggests that limerence is basically a result of a biochemical process in the brain. The hypothalamus sends cues responding to which the pituitary gland produces norepinephrine, estrogen, testosterone, and dopamine, and the combination creates a euphoric high and begins to assimilate as two attachment hormones, vasopressin and oxytocin, show up. So drug addicts actually show a similar brain structure as the people in love. Exactly why limerence feels like a limerent feels like a sense of withdrawal when their object of affection is not around. Love reduces an individual's serotonin levels, similar to the victims of obsessive compulsive disorder, and can drive people to extremes when fantasies are not fulfilled. Well, like stalking you and like kidnapping you and taking you, I don't know, like that just seems like a setup for nothing good. Nothing good.
Now, in one of the articles you sent me, somebody suggested that this should be put into the DSM.
Yeah.
As a mental illness.
Yes. It should be. Let me see where is it the one from Greg Berendt? Let's see. Signs of it. So it says here, so again, these are better ways to see it. So there seems to be ever-growing signs of limerence, and most of them can grow into other signs, making it a complex and challenging condition to experience or understand. Some of the signs that most psychologists agree upon include, but aren't limited to, you're hypervigilant about the whereabouts and when and how they will be with you. You suffer from physical symptoms and ailments when not with them, from anxiety to stomach aches, nausea, obsessive compulsive behavior, and more. You manipulate an activity or event where you'll accidentally run into them, or you fantasize about one even if you don't act on it. You refuse to see or admit them having any flaws or romantically idealize them. You feel electrified or a powerful connection to them when you feel you have no control over. You get jealous if they're 5 minutes late, or irrationally upset about something they did even if you're not in a relationship with them. You become very depressed and feel hopeless if they ignore or reject you even if you're not in a relationship with them. And you obsess over every word they say or look they give you when you're with them. It's frightening, frightening.
It really is frightening because, like, you're halfway describing like a 13-year-old girl having a crush.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's kind of like infatuation, right? But it's like
Yeah.
infatuation to the next level. You know,
You can't, it doesn't ever cool off. Like,
no.
it just stays infatuation, and it's just so unhealthy, but it's just so crazy to, like, because it seems like everybody would feel limerence at some point in their life, but just know how to manage it and move forward. But then there's people that it just
never goes away.
They just can't get past that point and be adults or whatever, and move on to the next step. Be disappointed and find out people are people.
Yeah. It's almost called, like, I've seen it being talked about as a love addiction. Like, and that probably is a really good way of thinking about it. There is a huge component of this that is wrapped up in delusion and fantasy. And that component is that the person, the limerent, thinks that the LO reciprocates the feelings that they have for them and that they feel the same way about them. Or that the limerent just in general feels that they are in some way, in some kind of different form of a relationship with the LO than they really are.
Right.
So definitely is the kind of thing that stalking seems to be made of. And it's really frightening to me. There are some physical effects of this. If you wanted to, it's the physiological effects of intense limerence can include shortness of breath, perspiration, and heart palpitations. It's almost like falling in love, right? If there's there's extensive anxiety, incorrect behavior may torpedo the relationship, which may cause physical responses to manifest intensely. Some people acutely feel these effects either immediately or following contact with the limerent object. Blended is dire ecstasy or keen despair, depending on the term of events. So, yeah, I mean, so it's interesting in the sense that, so there's a lot. So there's like three scenarios that can happen, apparently, when you talk about these people and the relationships they get into. It can be a person who's a limerent with somebody who's not, right? It can be a limerent and a limerent together, which sounds frightening as fuck. And then they can.
But how do you stay a limerent and a limerent together? Like, you're right with each other. How do you not move past that?
It says here, once the limerent reaction has initiated, one of three varieties of bonds may form, defined over a set duration of time in relation to the experience or non-experience of limerence. So the constitution may vary over the course of the relationship in ways that either increase or decrease the intensity of the limerence, right? So with an affectional bond, neither partner is limerent. So this is kind of like a normal relationship. With a limerent, non-limerent bond, one partner is limerent, obviously. And in a limerent bond, both partners. So affectional bonding is those who are characterized as affectional sexual relationships where neither partner is limerent. Couples tend to be in love, but they don't report continuously thinking about one another. They don't, get jealous over every little thing it's like a quote, normal relationship where, you don't stop doing everything in your life. You don't stop enjoying the things that you do in your life if that person's not a part of it. Like most functioning couples I know still have their own interests. Each person still has their own interests, enjoy doing them, even if they're not with their partner. There's not a lot of intrusive thinking. They don't define goals in terms of reciprocity. So they're not looking at every little thing that they do for one another and expecting it to be reciprocated, right? That's a normal, really healthy relationship. These types of couples tend to emphasize compatibility of interests, mutual preferences in leisure activities, abilities to work together, and a degree of relative contentment. So they get along, right? They're not psychoanalyzing this to death. Just I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about a podcast episode I listened to the other night that I'll talk about in a second. Okay. The bulk of relationships, however, according to Senov, the same psychologist, are those between a limerent person and a non-limerent other. These bonds are characterized by unequal reciprocation, which we talked about. And then there's the mutual reciprocation, defined as limerent. It says, since limerence itself is unstable, mutually limerent bonds would be expected to be short-lived. Mixed relationships probably last longer than limerent relationships. Some limerent relationships evolve into affectional bondings over time as limerence declines. So a limerent relationship would be those people who, like, I think we all know somebody who, like, falls in love all the time, like immediately falls hard and, like, hard and fast. If they meet another person like that and they both fall hard and fast, but then, like, in 6 months the relationship's over and it's, like, all gone. But, like, while they're together, it's, like, hot, heavy, and passionate. Like, that's like a good example of a limerent relationship. So theoretically, this can be dealt with through therapy. Yeah. I know, it's a little crazy. So Tanov identified 3 ways in which a limerence subsides. Consummation, so, like, so it happens, and, like, either they get together and it turns into love. They get together, they get rejected, right? They get together, it lasts a little while, and then it just fizzles out. There's starvation. In this process, a lack of any notice causes the limerent to gradually desensitize. This is desensitization. Why can't I talk today? Desensitization may take a long time, in which case a limerent's latent hypersensitivity may cause any attention given by a former LO, regardless of how slight, to be interpreted as a reason for hope. Ugh. And transference, which is probably the most common one. The limerent transfers their romantic feelings to another person, thereby ending the initial limerence. So there you go. So that's what limerence is in terms of definition clinically, what the characteristics look like. So I think everybody has probably felt this way at some point in their life. I'm not going to say, I think we've all had an unrequited crush or two.
Or 20.
20. But, like, I would like to say I was, like, 14.
Right.
Okay. So and I was not able to find a lot of information on this, because when I think about the fact that I'm 14, is this, like, I haven't really been able to find any research or any information, like trustworthy information, things I would deem that would say, like, this is, like, some kind of messed up, screwed up kind of, like, what am I looking for? Like something in the developmental process that gets screwed up, right? Because I expect that from a 14-year-old. I don't expect that from a 40-year-old. Right? Like, I mean, that's the kind of I expect, like, a 14-year-old to have some kind of crush on somebody, and it may or may not be reciprocated. And, it's, like, so heartbreaking.
I think a 40-year-old, a single 40-year-old, I mean, here I am at 48 years old. Here I've been telling people I'm 47 all year long. I'm 48 years old. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I can't do math.
You can't do math. I can't math.
I can't math this year.
Anyway,
here I've been telling people that, but at 48 years old, I'm single, and perhaps I'll meet somebody and go through a period of limerence and go through a co-limerent period. That would be, like, ideal, right? And find that affectionate bond and move forward. Like, I think everybody goes through it when they meet somebody that they're going to date. Everybody goes through a period of infatuation, but I guess limerence would be, when does limerence become malignant, right? Like, that's the problem. And that's
Well, Coffee
when
Queen says, go ahead. She says, like those people that stalk celebrities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that woman that ended up in David, what was it, David's house? Like she was convinced she was married to him or something. It was like really weird. Like that's when it gets crazy.
The guy that shot Ronald Reagan for Jodie Foster, and freaking the girl, what's her face from that TV show in the 80s that
Well,
got killed by
here's
her
the part that
stalker.
scares me. Here's the part that really scares me. So I was listening to this. I think I sent you I told you to try this one. It's called Strictly Stalking, this podcast, Strictly Stalking. And I started listening to it last week, and I was listening to the first episode. And it's about this woman who was being stalked by somebody who went to high school with her, right? And it was like somebody who she just happened to like know in passing. It wasn't like they never dated. They really didn't hang out in the same friend group. It was just like somebody, you know, those people you went to high school with somebody, right? Like that's
right.
And like there was never any meaningful interaction on her eyes, in her part that would make it so that this guy would care so much about her. And I don't want to like get into all the details, but he put a lot of effort into stalking her over a very long length of time, like over a decade worth of time. And we can have an entirely other show about the lame ass stalking laws and restraining order and all that crap, but we're not going to go there. But like, needless to say, he played the system very well. And in the end, he ended up finding out where she lived. Like this, if this isn't like God hating you, I don't know what it is. Like she had put her house into her husband's name. Like nothing was in her name that you could do any kind of public record search to find her. And she's talking about, I guess she must have stayed near home or something where she grew up. And she said that she ordered a pizza. She opens the door and the fucking pizza delivery guy is this guy.
Wow.
Right? Like, what the hell? And it wasn't like it was just like, this is what he was doing. Like, this is how like the universe like screwed her up. So now she's fine. So this ends up with him breaking into her house, holding her at knife point. Thankfully, her mom had called and was able to like read through the lines of the conversation to know that something was up and get the police there. So as she's waiting for the police to come, he takes her out into the driveway by the car, and he's got his car there by the garage, and he's got like all the accoutrement that he would need to like kidnap her and kill her, like rope, tape, everything, like the kidnapper's guide kit all set up. And the cops came before, and he had a gun now at this point. When they got outside, he had a gun. And she was able to get away from him. Obviously, the cops showed up. But then this guy was not charged with kidnapping because he didn't take her far enough away from her house to constitute kidnapping.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But this is my point. Long story not short. The part that freaks me out about this is the fact that you don't even have to have had contact or like spoken a word to these people for it to become something like this. Like it can be a complete stranger who happens to just see you someplace, thinks that like, you know, the angels are shining down above you or something. And then and something in their brain flips. And the next thing you know, you're breaking into David Letterman's house because you think you guys are married. Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, like that is the part that's frightening to me. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on there? That like, I just can't imagine feeling that way about anybody, you know, anyone. I can't imagine feeling that way about a complete stranger. So, you know, there's got to be more to this than it's got to be like, I really do believe it is a chemical issue. Like there's definitely something in the brain misfiring that causes this. But I mean, you also have to be like, I mean, I don't even know like how to even talk about this because this is such a foreign concept to me in so many ways, because like what would cause you to see someone and just like fall in love with them immediately without ever speaking to them. I can't imagine falling in love with somebody without even talking to them. Like,
but that's not really falling in love with.
I understand that, but I can't
think.
I can't even imagine like considering even like having a crush on somebody without even talking to them. Like, you got to say like three. I got to get a conversation before. Yeah, it's like that song. I knew I loved you before I met you. How?
Right.
Like how? I mean, I can understand that you have like a thought, love at first sight. I can understand that you have like, what are you doing? Is the cat rubbing against the microphone?
No, that was me. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
That was me moving my computer.
Okay. Like I say that I fell in love with Scott, love at first sight, right? But like, I don't mean that I fell in love with Scott at first sight. Like I looked at him and thought he was but I mean like I didn't know him. Like the first time I saw him and he said something to me, I thought, oh my God, that's funny. Like he's funny and he's cute. And like, oh, he's adorable. I want to know him more. I don't know. I want to love him.
Right.
I don't know why. I mean, I will cop to like after knowing him for a couple of days, I was like, I'm going to marry this guy. Like, I do know that. And it's just, and I don't know, it's just because like, but to me, it's because like, you know, the depth of conversation, maybe the connection that you have or you feel with somebody. But like, I can't imagine not even speaking to somebody and being like, I'm in love with you. Like, I get
stalking Scott. You weren't stalking him. Like,
no, I was not stalking him at all. But I mean, like
you weren't like malignant towards him.
No. Mm-mm. But when you think about it, most stalkers aren't really interacting with the people that they stalk.
Exactly.
Right? So
you were.
I understand that, but I'm saying like I can understand having some kind of concept of what the person that you think you're going to fall in love with would be like, so that you can say once you find that person, you kind of knew you were that's what they were going to be like because this is what you were looking for or thought you would be, you know, the perfect kind of person for you. Immediate affection can confuse your feelings. Yeah, yeah. Like, and I think that there's a whole other thing, like physically being attracted to somebody immediately is something completely different. Like, I think lust is completely different with this. Like, I think lust is a component of it because these people want to be the only like sexual partner with these people. And they feel like only them as their sexual partner can be fulfilling. But like people who hook up and then like go their separate ways and continue with their lives is not, I don't think that doesn't fall into this for me. Like, I mean, I think that, you know, I think that we've all been there where we're like, well, that guy's hot or that chick is really hot. Like, you know, like, I mean, I'm going to be 45 years old on Sunday. I'm not going to like lie that I've never like made out with some dude at a party because I thought they were cute. Like, come on. I mean, like, seriously, like it's happened. Like, you know, like but then I went home and I was like, okay, it's over. Like, you know, I'm not stalking his house because I'm like, we had some deep, meaningful connection.
Well, I guess that there would be a difference, I guess, between limerence and stalking it in the malignancy, in the danger, in that, you know, the control, the power, the kidnapping, you know what I mean? The control, murder.
The kidnapping. The control, the power, the kidnapping.
That's the difference. I mean, that's, I guess that would be what makes the difference for me. You know, like, because we all have crushes on people and at various stages in our life. Let's see. Coffee Queen says, I don't know that it even has to be sex, but I like seeing someone so beautiful, and then you start to daydream about being with someone so out of your league, and then it can escalate into dreaming about having a relationship with them, and then it just gets bigger and bigger. I agree with that. A lot of people will find themselves in situations that do just get out of their control, and they find themselves like, how did I get here? And then they'll rein it in. They won't start kidnapping, you know?
There is, I mean, I think everybody's done that, right? I mean, I don't really know if I would believe anybody who told me that they never fantasized about anybody. Like,
Right.
met somebody, fantasized, but like right at the end of your set, it gets bigger and bigger, period. But then it stops at some
Right.
point, right? It doesn't manifest itself into like a physically stalking kind of situation, right? So there's clearly a a point that gets crossed. Now, it almost sounds to me, judging from what some of these symptoms of limerence are, is that the limerent could have actual contact on a somewhat routine basis with the object of their affection. Like, it could be like a coworker or something like that, where, you know, they have some semblance of a relationship with one another, and that limerent person is reading a lot more into it than the other person is, right? You know, I guess the kids would say you're being friend zoned right now. Right? I don't know. So I know. So, like, I'm looking at this case study stalked by a limerent, an LO. So it says that the consequences of a limerence episode can last longer than we want. Jasmine got in touch recently regarding a problem that has no easy solution. Her LO is stalking her. The knee-jerk response at this point would be call the police, but I'm going to assume that the idea that idea has occurred to Jasmine and that she's hoping for a more subtle take on the situation. So let's work through this. Jasmine and her LO were mutually limerent and embarked on an emotional affair, which progressed to the point of mutual declaration of romantic feelings. At that point, however, Jasmine pulled back. She decided to end the emotional affair, recommit to her marriage, and go no contact with the LO. She communicated this to the LO and asked him to leave her alone. So now I'm wondering if that's also a point here too. Is there like an emotional relationship component to this? A huge emotional relationship component to this, right? That plan has been working out well for her, and she has made a good progress on recovery, rebuilding trust, and basically getting her mind straight. She's disclosed to her husband, who is supportive but understandably upset, and they are working on moving on together from a difficult episode in their married life.
Are we sure this isn't Lori?
Yeah, right. LO, however, is not taking things so well. It's been over a year of no contact for me, and yet I don't think I've gone through a full week, with a few exceptions, without the LO driving, riding, running, hiking by. When I was working, he would drive by during the time he knew I'd be outside. He figures out my routine and then makes it his routine. I don't feel physically threatened. I'm not afraid of him. I tell my SO when I see him, which gets really annoying for both of us. I change my routine, but it doesn't seem to be losing any momentum. He never tries to talk to me. In fact, he acts like he doesn't see me. I describe this to myself as soft stalking. No communication, no escalation, no sense of threat, just a consistent and persistent there-ness. Obviously, it's good that Jasmine doesn't feel threatened, but there are at least 3 problems here. First, the LO's behavior is making it difficult for her to get on with her life, obviously, and destabilizing the marriage recovery with the repetitive reporting of sightings as a constant background reminder of the emotional affair. Second, Jasmine was a willing participant in the emotional affair, and so judging what is reasonable or unreasonable behavior from the LO gets complicated, right? So she might not even know because she's so blinded by, you know, what it is. And third, speaking as an impartial observer, I can't shake off a black cloud of concern about whether LO's stalking will escalate despite Jasmine's optimism. At the moment, he is dancing on the line of plausible deniability and only seeking glimpses of Jasmine in public. An unpersuasive case for bringing in the authorities, but that could change depending on LO's state of mind and persistence, things that are outside of Jasmine's control. So, there's a risk in trying to untangle the skein, and to significant extent it doesn't matter, but it's worth reflecting on what the LO is experiencing, as that can help clarify how best to respond. She doesn't feel threatened by him. That's encouraging, and I suspect that part of the reason for that is, as a fellow limerent, she understands what he's going through. She knows how it feels to crave limerent reinforcement, even the sickly, pathetic hit of briefly seeing them across the parking lot. This sort of impulse is familiar to all limerents, and so we know it can just be a guilty fix that won't go any further. A less encouraging sign is that LO did not respond with embarrassment or reflection. When Jasmine changed her routine to disrupt this indirect fix, he altered his own schedule to try and reestablish the exposure. That could suggest something deeper. See, to me, that'd be like, I'm being stalked. Like the minute I change my routine and somebody changes theirs to accommodate me, that I'm being stalked. So
it's not
clearly,
soft stalking.
Yeah. Yes. That's not soft stalking. That's stalking.
That's accessing my calendar.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like the case here is being made that, there's an emotional affair, and that I think I can say that I have been in an emotional affair at least once during a very unhappy time in a relationship. And there probably was limerence there because the person was giving me emotional feelings that I wasn't getting from someplace else. Does that actually mean I was in love with this person? Probably not. Was I getting something I needed? Yes. But I think that is a perfect example of how something like this starts, right?
Right.
And then all you need is somebody who takes that way more seriously than the other person does. Or like in this case, when somebody breaks it off and the other person doesn't want it to. And this is now, here we go. Here we go. We're starting it up. Like, I mean, when my emotional affair ended, I was very upset. But I wasn't like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to die. Like, I mean, I moved on with my life. Right.
Right.
And so did the person who I was having the emotional affair with. But like, it's clear that for this situation is like somebody who was seeking something, was not feeling something in their marriage and found it someplace else. So that's probably a perfect conduit for this kind of situation, this kind of limerence experience, right? I think that sounds like a perfect setup to me. But then, I think that there are people can just experience it without any reason whatsoever. Like they just meet somebody and they just like, this is the person, like this is my person, I guess. I don't know. Makes me wonder if it's due to some kind of lack of something in their emotional life also that is causing that maybe it's not from a relationship. It could be a lack of relationship. It could be unfulfilling like friendships or home. I don't know. Like it could be something that's filling that some kind of void that they feel might be love, but it's really not. I don't know. Cause I mean that the whole part about wanting it to be reciprocal and then having this like constant reassurance of somebody's feelings, it screams of like insecurity to me.
Right. Absolutely.
But I've like never heard of this until I started listening to the podcast and somebody said the word limerence and I was like, the hell is that? And to me, I just thought it was stalking. I mean, I really did, because that's what it sounded like to me.
To me, it just seems like limerence is something that happens in your head, and stalking is an action. And it seems like to me, even though they describe it as you can be you can be a limerent person and stalk somebody, it just seems like there's a point when limerence stops and stalking starts, because everybody can experience limerence, but not everybody is a stalker.
Right. I think it's a spectrum, right? Like there's like there's infatuation, right? You're infatuated by somebody, and then if it's not, and I mean, like, it also depends on if any of this is being reciprocated or not, and in the way that it's being reciprocated, because you can have two limerent people reinforcing each other, and that's probably when it gets crazy, hot and heavy, and then it probably just goes poof, gone. Like, and like I said, we've all seen that. We all know that one person who loves being in love, right? Loves falling in love, right? And then as soon as they find somebody and they're done with being in love, it's like boring. Yeah. Right. So we all know that. I would say that that's probably as part of a spectrum of limerence, or some semblance of it, that, you like the thrill of the falling in love process. But yes, I agree. Like there is a part where it becomes not so much infatuation and crushing or being attractive to somebody, where it slides over to that obsessive, like when it gets into that obsession where you start, when you start changing your lifestyle to fit around seeing somebody else for the sake of just possibly taking a glimpse of them, that's a problem. And the part that I keep thinking about with this is how much we normalize it in like movies and TV shows and like in media, we normalize this in so many ways. Like this is the fucking plot device of so many movies and TV shows that I'm just like, no wonder we're all so screwed up when it comes to relationships, because this is what we think is normal. And it's so not normal. Well, I mean, like it gets to after a certain point, it's not normal anymore. Like again, I think crushing on somebody is completely normal. I think having an infatuation with somebody is completely normal. Lifetime movies, no kidding. Every friggin' Lifetime movie is like a Limerence, an Limerent object movie.
Every romantic comedy.
That's what I was thinking of. Like when I said, you know, I feel like I see that I expect this from a 14-year-old. It's like those Lifetime movies where like the 14-year-old girl falls in love with her teacher, right? That's like, you know, twice her age or something. And the guy, you know, and the guy is like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. You're 14. But she's like, no, you love me. And every time you look at me, it's like, you mean something. And he gave me like, you know, that kind of crap, which we see in every fucking movie. So yeah, like, that's the kind of craziness that I think we normalize a lot of. And, you know, to look into that more and to see that this can really feed into like obsessive compulsive behavior and then obsessive thoughts. And then, you know, to a point where you are stalking somebody, that's frightening. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be stalking. It could just be like, you being completely delusional about what your actual relationship is with these people, right? Like, I keep going back to the woman who broke into David. I mean, she was stalking him, but she also really and truly believed that they were like married. Like she really in her head thought that this was like, they had some kind of deep, meaningful relationship that they never had. So that's scary. And as I listened to this podcast, I'm like, every single story starts out the same way. Like they don't even like, you know, again, I'm frightened by the fact that it doesn't even have to be any kind of meaningful interaction for this to happen. Like at all. Like it could just be, you know, that's scary.
You just happen to be wearing a purple shirt that day.
So would you think that there's somebody's like has a pre-existing mental condition if that's all it takes? Because that sounds like that to me. Like if it's so meaningful to you, or I don't know. Like I just, there's got to be something missing from life if you put that much emphasis.
I mean, I wonder if it seems to me that enough people who have stalked, right, have been incarcerated and therapized, that there has to be like some sort of consistent diagnosis, right? I mean, even people who have stalked have been known to stalk multiple people. Like, okay, so this object of their obsession managed to remove themselves permanently and get safe. And so then they fixated on somebody else, and then they fixated on somebody else. And so, I mean, there has to be some sort of consistent or seemingly consistent series of diagnoses.
Now you're getting me. Now I want to put a pin in this and continue this conversation on Wednesday, because I want to do some research into stalking. And I want to look at, I really want to know what kind of psychological diagnoses these people come up with, like what it looks like, their what the common psychological profile looks like.
Yeah.
And then I want to see, I actually think I would like to do a little research into recurrence of stalking and see how often people well, I mean, like we already know from anecdotally that they go back and can repetitively stalk the same person after even being incarcerated. But I would like to see if is there any numbers on recurrence of just the activity, the actual behavior, whether it's transferred onto somebody else.
Or just the same person, yeah.
Right. So I think I want to put a pin in this and like have a part 2, because I'm really fascinated by like what the reality of like what that looks like, right? And what that psychology looks like, because it would be really interesting if there was like, I'm sure there is probably a basic standard with definite offshoots and exceptions profile of somebody who stalks somebody else. But I would really be interested in knowing if it's something that you can actually rehabilitate. Desperate for a connection, but they don't have the tools to interact with people. Yes, I definitely think that there's a component of that. I think there's probably a smaller subset of that there are people who just straight out don't know how to socially interact with people correctly, and it comes off weird or like odd, or that's just like their way is very different because of whatever. Like, you know, not everybody's good at socially interacting with other people. I get that. Like I but there is a line that gets crossed after a point where you're like, yeah, just weird. Like this is just not you know. So yeah, I would like to look at this further, because I'm really interested in knowing if this is something that people actually get cured of. In terms of like, if it's like, if it is like, is it something that most people who are successfully rehabbed from this, is it because they only had one person that they were obsessing over, or do people who tend to do this repetitively to different people, is it possible for them to kind of get over this, or is this like a pathology that these people have? Like, I just don't know. But now I want to know. Because I want to know. No, because I really think that this is clearly, to me, in my head, there's a clear line from somebody having a crush to like going all the way out here to like, now I'm going to obsessively stalk you. And in between that, we have this cute little like limerence period where we talk about. But, you know, to me, everything on the end over here is just everything over here amplified times like 100. So there's got to be, to me, there's got to be something where the switch gets flipped, where you take it to that line and then you decide, I'm going to go over it now. And it's going to become, I'm going to act on this because I believe these things are real, like, or this person really feels this way, or that like almost even like I'm entitled to this. Like, I don't even know, like, I don't even know how to refer to that as, but there's got to be something going on there that like just makes this person think it's okay to just take it to the next, 100 steps forward. I'm fascinated now, and now I need to know this. So now we're gonna have part 2 on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave and do all this research. I'm gonna like flood your inbox tomorrow, and then we're gonna talk about it on Wednesday, because this conversation has got me thinking, and I'm gonna go listen to more of my Strictly Stalking podcast and find out more.
I am so excited because you do the best research.
What'd you say?
I said I am so excited because you do the best research.
Thank you. So I think this is a good place to end, because I'm hitting a place where I need more data before I need more information before I can make any more comments.
We cannot make bricks without clay, people.
True. But I really want to know. I'm like really, 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 really fascinated by this, which is because we have the way this conversation has gone. I'm just like, there's something missing here that I don't see, that I have to see. I have to look. And I gotta say,
just witnessed the birth of our first 2-part series.
Yeah. But I have to tell you, what did scare me when I was doing research for this, the sheer amount of posts on Reddit about this freaked me out. But like, of how many people are like, I think I have limerence, or I'm trying to get over limerence. Like, the sheer amount of posts about people who are like hyper obsessed with each other is frightening to me. I mean, and if you just put the word limerence in a Google search, it's like amazing what comes up as far as like Reddit threads and things, like people asking advice and things like this. Not a ton of psychological research done on this. It's almost like it was coined in the 60s, like 50s, 60s, and then we kind of like put it on the shelf, and I don't know why. But now I'm going to look a little bit further into this, because now I'm like, what happened? What, like, where is there's obviously, to me in my head, there's a link between limerence and obsessive stalking behavior. I'm trying to figure out where that happens. Like, what's the little missing link there that I haven't done yet. So stay tuned, guys. Come back on Wednesday, because we're going to talk about this some more. I will put some links to the couple of articles I thought were helpful about this, about just a general discussion of what limerence is, into our description box. And on Wednesday, I will come back with some answers to some questions. And if you have any questions that you want, if you're like kind of wondering the same thing, feel free to leave comments or drop us a line on socials and let us know what you want to know, because now I'm just like, I gotta know more. This is what happens when you start these crazy topics. Oh, anyway. So thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for everyone watching. Coffee Queen, thank you again for being our first person to throw biddies at us. Biddies. That word bothers me a little bit, but that's all right. It rhymes with another word, which would you throw things that you'd show when people are throwing things at you, throwing money at you. So I'm just like, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, thank you so much for the videos. I appreciate them so much. If you are not subscribed to this channel, fix that. You want to get subscribed. Now you will get the content ad free, because now we are on the ad. We are affiliates. We now have ads. So if you don't want to watch ads, subscribe to us. The button should be there. Feel free to take part of that. If you are not interested in subscribing, just follow so you can see where it goes. Try us out for a little longer. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, if YouTube is more your jam, please check us out there. So I'll Take the L is the name of the channel. You can leave us comments there. We do upload to both Twitch and to YouTube, so we will see comments both places, or any kind of interaction both places. Thank you to every person who has helped us and supported us in getting to this affiliate status. We really, truly appreciate it. Absolutely. I want to particularly thank DJ Danny P and everybody in that tribe right there, the best Twitch family ever. So Coffin Queen, Gruesome Rick, Big Boss Lady, Big Boss 503, Toasty, all those people who are like the first followers of this channel. We appreciate you guys so much. You will notice if you come on here, you're now VIPs, because you guys deserve it so much. And we appreciate it so much. Your support has been awesome. I'd like to also thank all the Warframe streamers in the last 24 hours who have joined our channel, who followed the channel and pushed us over the edge. So thank you to you guys. Thank you to my husband, Scott, man called Matt, who also streams. He's a Warframe streamer. He also streams Fortnite, so you can check him out. He's on a middle of 100 days of streaming. So I think we're on day 32 or 33. I'm not sure. We're not even 34, but he'll let me know. But check him out if you like to stream more. If you play Warframe or Fortnite, he streams multiple times a night, plays with different groups. And so thank you to those guys for following and helping us get to reach affiliate status. We truly, truly appreciate it. If you're looking for different content, check all of them out. They're all linked on our Twitch channel of other featured content and other people we recommend you listening to or trying out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Tomorrow, tomorrow, 6 o'clock PDT, Colleen and Mary react to weird stuff on the internet. It will be the debut episode of Stop, Wait, What? Which is basically the face that we make when we watch this stuff. So I will give a little hint of what we're going to be reacting to. I do have a video called I Married My Imaginary Best Friend. So we will be watching that. Again, I did not watch beyond like 10 seconds just to check that it was going to be quality. It could be good stuff to react to. Perfect. So we're watching that amongst some other short ones. So yeah. So we'll be checking that out. So tomorrow, 6 p.m. PDT, right here. We'll be here. Colleen and I will be reacting to the weird stuff we find on the internet. Blind reactions. So as you see it, we will see it. And you'll see us going, Angie and I will be back on Wednesday. We'll follow up this limerence discussion and take you to the next level of stalking, which, you know, it seems to be the natural progression here, but maybe I'll find out it's not. We'll see. We'll learn something new in the next.
Maybe everybody just falls in love and has a happily ever after.
I would love
Danielle Steele.
Have a good night, Coffin Queen. I would love
Night,
it.
Coffin Queen.
I would love it if everybody just fell in love and had a great life and ran off into the sunset, a la Danielle Steele. But that's just not the way life is. But I'd much prefer that they don't like go off into the sunset with the person that they've like, you know, tied up in their trunk either. Yeah. So we'll learn more about this on Wednesday. Angie, as always, it's been a pleasure and fun. Always happy to have you sitting next to me virtually.
Next time I'll do my hair.
Okay, I think it looks great. I don't know why you're hiding. I think it looks fantastic. Your natural looks beautiful. So guys, with this, we're gonna bid you adieu and enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Hopefully you're not under a heat advisory where you are. But if you are, try to stay cool. And we will catch you on Wednesday evening for the continuation of I'll Take the L for Limerence. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.